Hello everyone, Pallytime here, and welcome back to Orcs Must Die 3. Today's a very special day. After weeks of effort, after showing you how to 5-skull every single level we've come across so far, we have reached the very end of the Old Friends campaign. Yes, that's right, 18 levels are about to be completed after today's video. We're looking at the Order Temple, the final level of the campaign, and I'm going to show you how to get it done in fantastic fashion as always. Unlike always, we actually practiced this level on stream earlier this week, so some of you may know what we're about to do, but I've changed it up a little bit since then just to keep you on your toes. As always, thank you guys so much for being here. If you're enjoying the series, please be sure to hit the thumbs up button. Just takes you a quick second, and it helps us out a ton. Also, don't forget, November 6th is going to be our 24-hour charity live stream to raise money to help sick kids at the Arnold Palmer Hospital in Orlando, Florida. I would love for you guys to stop by twitch.tv/MFPallytime on November 6th. Without any further ado, let's take on the Order Temple. All right, we have made it. This is the level. It is a war scenario, which means we're going to be getting a ton of money at the start. Most enemies coming from the northern entrances and going down their respective paths. One northeast, one northwest, and they come in here, start making their way up these steps, and eventually meet a gate. In our normal fashion, this gate will fall. We are not here to defend this gate. We are trying to get everyone into the kill box. So let's start to walk this out a little bit. I already have a location picked out for our kill box that works really, really well. If enemies come through the northeastern side, make their way to this gate, they are then going to try to push this way. We don't want them to do that. Luckily for us, there are no sappers on this level, so these barricades should be pretty safe. As we continue the walk around, there are then several staircase entrances that then feed into the rift area in the middle. Of course, we need to protect this. Let's continue to walk around the map to place our barricades. This is the northwestern entrance where these guys are coming through. If they break this wall down, well, they're not going to be going this way because they already barricaded this. That means already we have all of our enemies following this path down. And we just want to keep them going in this direction. Because it's a war scenario and we get so much money, spending this much on barricades, not that big of a deal at all. When I did this level in co-op, me and my friend Mucka were standing right here and defending everything that walked to this location, including the enemies that are going to be coming out of the far western side of the map here shortly. This doesn't happen in round one. We have a little while to prepare. There are some pros and cons to this area, although there aren't as many pros as there are cons. So I decided for my single player attempt, I would continue to ferry around these orcs until they get to this room. We have good wall coverage, good ceiling coverage, with this, which this area is drastically missing, and we should be able to finish off most enemies in the level that reach this room. Initially, our strategy was based around zigzagging enemies through here with a bunch of different barricades, and that might sound appealing to you too. I mentioned there are no sappers on the list of enemies that we have to deal with. However, there are dynamite archers, there are really big fire elementals and fire lords that of course drop those small little flames that blow up on barricades and cause a lot of trouble. We are going to have plenty of money by the end of this, so replacing these barricades wasn't really that big of a deal, but losing a barricade mid-round was kind of starting to suck. So rather than a really tight zigzag, what I started doing was something like this to make a wider kill box that all of the enemies kind of funnel into here and hopefully die away from these barricades. At least that's the plan. This leaves one entryway for the rift, which is this staircase right here, just behind our kill box. And this is where all of the enemies are going to try to go, because every other way in here is blocked off. This is a really solid strategy. With all of our barricades in place, what are the actual traps that we're using? Staff of Domination is going to be my primary weapon. Just tried a bunch of different iterations with this, where I was trying to make the stone staff work, but I kept having leaks in round one, which is not what you want to have happen at all. I think the Staff of Domination being able to cause roadblocks, especially on those bigger enemies, is really going to come in handy here. However, if you can figure out how to get past the first few initial waves with the stone staff, I think you could get a better score than me. Just theory crafting. I think you could. Anyway, barricades, we've already talked about these a lot. These are the single barricades with the explosion resistance. We're going to be putting these in an elbow and then deleting the corner spot. The reason for that is you need to make sure that there's enough room for ogres, trolls, fire lords, any of those big enemies to fit through here. We have lots of fire immune enemies, so we pulled out the arcane brimstone yet again. We're using tar to slow down our adversaries. Sealing lasers, one of the best traps, not only for damage but for multipliers as well. We have poison sprayers. Feel free to use ice if that is your preferred. We have the dart traps augmented with freeze for some more crowd control in here. Originally on Twitch, I was using butterfly boxes, but I'm actually thinking that flowers might give me some better multipliers. Also, main source of our damage, and you need to make sure you're paying attention to this, we are bringing in the buzzsaws. Notice how these bounce back and forth really, really nicely. Well, the orientation of your buzzsaws after the archway matter quite a lot to make this kill box work. For instance, this one right after the archway, we want to face upwards. The reason for that is it has a nice wall over here to bounce off of that will then keep it ricocheting nicely. However, the next ones that we build need to be pointed down at the ground because we want them to actually ricochet off of this barricade that we placed here. It's in the perfect spot for that, and it allows these buzzsaws to stay inside of our trap gauntlet for more uptime for much longer. Speaking of keeping stuff in our trap gauntlet, we are going to be using these wall freezers all across the back line. Actually, probably not there, but all across the back line because it has perfect distance. Once an enemy makes it through this archway and they get into the lasers, they're going to start to be frozen by our wall traps. This comes together really nicely, although the hardest rounds are the first ones, so be prepared for that. Initially, I'm going to add in our lasers, our buzzsaws in the front. It's going to go up, down, up, turn around, and then down and up. These are going to be placed in for a lot of our damage, and then we're going to follow this up with tar placed on the laser trap lines. One of the biggest obstacles you're going to run into here is the lack of crowd control. And it actually really sucks. So I'm going to try to start to make up for that a little bit. We're going to add a freeze trap here and a freeze trap here, because I imagine some enemies are going to be making their way past our trap gauntlet a little bit, and we want to make sure they don't get too far. And without any further ado, get comfortable. It's a really big map with a really long part time, and it takes enemies quite a while to get over here. Ugh, fell asleep. Okay, we're back, and enemies are starting to make their way over here. We're gonna make our lives easier by just mind controlling that fire lord in the back, charging up our auto attack, waiting for these guys to get in range, and then trying to explode multiple enemies at the same time. Notice that's pretty good multipliers. If they start to group up too much, we just right-click. We spend our mana to make the roadblock. And again, this is where I was having trouble using the stone staff. I do think the stone staff could give you better scores over the course of the level. However, I need the mind control to make these ogres fight each other and get distracted. It's really, really important to me. Let's go ahead. We'll mind control this Knoll who's chasing after me a little bit. One of the ogres in the kill box is MC'd as well. And as that armored ogre steps into the gauntlet, there's yet another mind control to keep him busy. And busy he is. Distracting another ogre all on his own. We have some money to fill out the rest of our gauntlet, so let's get to work on that. Up in this corner, we'll put a freeze. Back here on this elbow piece, we'll put a flower. And then I think I'm going to continue to build out the tar as we get time here. These little fire fiends might sneak by you. Keep an eye out for them. They are basically the kobolds of the Fireland. We obviously don't want that to happen. Any of these chunkier boys that walk up, we're going to make sure that they are mind controlled so that the roadblock comes into full effect here. Also, keeping an eye on the mini-map, we do have a dynamite archer in transit. Keep that in mind. We don't want to be sitting inside of our kill box when he's here. We also don't want to be mind controlling any big enemies inside of the kill box if the dynamite archers are nearby. But we still got a little bit of time for that. Let's continue to build out our freeze wall, adding 2 more to the back wall with the money that we generated here. That will help out a ton. And the reason this strategy does... Ooh, I just broke my rule, so I have to go find the dynamite archer and kill him. There he is. Okay, perfect. Recovered. Beautiful. Okay, now we're starting to get control over this area a little bit more. There is more to this wave still coming in. The reason this setup is so strong is because the fire elementals, as they group up, they're going to naturally clump on these right 2 tiles, which are the safest tiles far away from your most important barricades, which is holding this line to keep these enemies going around. We did take a little bit of damage here, but these barricades are probably never going to be damaged as long as I'm playing relatively well, as long as we're not baiting dynamite archers over in that direction. I'm going to save some money for some lasers. It looks like that's what we're lacking at the moment. But again, there's a ton of downtime here. So just kind of waiting for enemies to move up. Hey, welcome to the party. Come on in. Nice to have you. Great to see you. Come on in. When the ogre walks in, we'll just right-click him. Staff of Domination doing its job. I did miss a right-click there. If you want to improve your scores on this level, just using your mana is a good way of doing that. Just applying another effect with the right click is a great way of doing that. We're going to add a line of brimstone in the front. Remember, that's arcane brimstone, and then 2 more lasers going backwards. That's all of the lasers we're going to need.
Bring more of my army.
Oh yeah, did I mention there's a twist here? Behind our trap gauntlet, we're going to have a portal spawning, which orcs are going to start to run out of. But don't worry, we have the Staff of Domination. We're going to be able to keep these guys busy, no problem. As they start to move out, right-click the biggest one, and then I actually have been charging my auto attack for another explosion to try to combo even more. This is going to be so easy to defend, and as the level progresses, more of these portals are going to be opening up with even more difficult enemies. One of the reasons our trap gauntlet is here, our kill box is here, is because it's perfectly positioned to deal with the majority of these portals. But the ones that do spawn back here will continue to get bigger and bigger enemies, which is where the Staff of Domination shines. Just mind control the big ones. Problem solved. The main wave has made it into the gauntlet now. We're getting 8 times multipliers. That's looking pretty good. I'm going to set a flower up on this open spot here because the one I have in the corner isn't shooting off as much as I would like. And, ooh, mind control on the Fire Lord. Mind control on the Armored Ogre. We took a little bit of barricade damage, but it's not that big of a deal. One benefit of this trap setup, too, is that the Fire Lords that do die are dying directly underneath those lasers. So, in a lot of instances, the lasers will just kill those embers off right away. Or, better yet, the buzzsaws will kill those embers off right away. if you have good coverage of those. Speaking of which, let's put one more down there and one more up in this corner so we can actually shoot over this barricade. On our back wall, that's looking pretty good so far. I don't want to leave this space open, but I really don't have too much to put in there that I want to use. One idea might be shooting a buzzsaw this way just to help clean up the back line. But what I don't want is this buzzsaw shooting out towards these guys, messing up my combos. I want as many people to come into the box as possible. Let's go ahead and put up more of these dart traps on this back line. One here and one here. We're putting those directly over our barricades, which is exactly where all of the enemies are walking to. So it should make it so as they enter the kill box, they are hit with even more CC as they get deeper in here. At least that's the goal that we are working towards. That barricade on the left is looking pretty weak. I'm literally just right-clicking to spend mana at this point for combo multipliers. That's all we're doing. There is a dynamite archer making its way into the kill box right now. We know that by looking at the minimap. So I'm just going to walk away from him to make sure we don't cause any trouble there. And again, look at the minimap. There's another wave coming, but they're so far away. We have so much time to waste. I could just kind of come over here and heal, make my way back over to the kill box, really start to analyze what we want to do differently. And I think more flowers on this back line might be the answer. I don't think a freeze trap here makes a ton of sense. I don't think a freeze trap there makes a ton of sense. But eventually we're going to have a lot of extra wall space that we could just do whatever we want with. Oh, hey guys, welcome. Come on in. Okay, so let's figure this out. I am probably going to reserve some ceiling space for flowers as well. These flowers don't interact super well when there is a ceiling trap that's kind of indented that takes up space. However, we can kind of account for that with our setup to put those flowers exactly where we want. In the interim, 2 of these sprayers, a tile off from this corner, should add some nice needed damage into this kill box and also set up another strain of multipliers that we need in here. These also have really long range, so as enemies enter, they're pretty much going to be in range the moment they hit the lasers, which is super nice. These sprayers do have a cooldown, and I do think there might be a strategy where you sell your sprayers in between rounds and then rebuild them periodically for more multipliers. Is that overkill? Yeah, I think yeah, probably a little bit. Yep. Probably a little bit. Let's put a flower in this back corner, a freeze trap next to that. We'll put 2 sprayers back in the same spot they were in before. How's this looking? I think another dart trap here. I don't want to put a freeze here because I don't think it would hit anything that we're desiring to hit. The western gate is opening right now. All of those enemies are super duper close to us, and guess where they're going to be walking? Because of our expert barricade traps that we placed along the walkway, they're all coming directly into our kill box. We are ready for this. One thing I should have done is just sold that barricade to replace it, but again, I kind of already have a lot of money, and I'm not sure what I want to do with it at the moment. Let's set up 2 more sprayers on the ceiling after these 2 shoot. Boom, boom. So now these 2 are going to be off cooldown. We have a nice grouping in the back. I'm going to start mind controlling these big guys as they enter that area. That leaked a little more than I was hoping, actually. Nothing we can't take care of. Why are you still fucking walking forward when you're mind controlled? Hello? Nothing we can't take care of. Nothing that's too big of a deal. But it does show me that we probably need some more tar back here as a result. So we'll put tar all along the ground. We have a full tile of sprayers. Let's put a tile of flowers above that, and then some more sprayers on this back line facing towards the door. And we're actually looking pretty sturdy already in round 3. We're looking pretty good. This should be the final part of the wave entering right now. All of our poison sprayers going off at the same time. We're going to right-click on the mountain troll, try to keep him in here, try to keep him mind-controlled. We also want him to explode on our enemies. And same things with the ogres, the new trolls walking in. We're just spending our mana for multipliers at this point. However, someone didn't get the memo that we're walking this way. Hello, McFly. Round 3 onward, we're going to have enemies coming through the west entrance, I believe, every round. In fact, round 4 is only that entrance. I assume round 5 and 6, we're going to be hit with every enemy. The fact that they're at that entrance just means good things for our par time, though, so I'm not that upset. We'll put one more flower down in the back. We have more portals opening if you take a look at the mini-map, but all of those portals are off to the west, so we are totally chilling. More brimstone in the front is just going to add to our multiplier if these are on cooldown. I think killing the little enemies might hurt our score a little bit, but that brimstone is not going to have 100% uptime, don't you worry. We have $3,000 left to spend, which is exactly what we need to finish off our sprayers in that corner. And as you can see, I'm not really that required anymore. This is a pretty lean, mean, killing machine we have here. Even though we have some empty wall space where I was putting those butterfly boxes before, I feel pretty good about the flowers on the ground and on the ceiling for keeping these enemies at bay. We have another rift opening to the west yet again, which means our kill box is in a perfectly fine position to deal with the consequences of that portal. We are prepared and ready to go. And you'll see as these Fire Lords enter, those small little embers are being killed right away. And our barricade line is far enough back that they're not getting damaged. It's a pretty solid strat. Barricade orientation actually ended up being pretty important on this level. What do I want to spend money on? We could put one of these here. Not for any real reason. We can put another one there.
I almost forgot how powerful I can be.
If we really wanted to, we could barricade here and here and set up another line of buzzsaws just in case someone does make it to the end. We have this in position to deal with them. I need to get back because there's an archer or something in the kill box right now. I also need to just spend my mana in here. Burn the mana! Get the score! Burn the mana! Round 5 is beginning, and I was correct. Every single door has enemies funneling out of it right now. We have $6,000 to spend. I still have not sold that damaged barricade. I need to do that at some point. But like I said, we're looking pretty golden right now. We could continue to snake this back here. We're starting to lose a little bit of ceiling coverage. If enemies are getting this far, I'm kind of worried. So let's just add in a few flowers here to help keep them back. We do have another rift opening to the west. This one even closer to our kill box. But again, we have perfect positioning for this. We are good to go. One thing to point out, we have these small little mana potions in here. I can be picking these up throughout the course of the round just to spend my Staff of Domination mana even more for that multiplier. We need to be a little careful because there's some dynamite archers coming up in this next pack. We don't want our mind control targets too close to the barricades. This mountain troll moving up is MC'd. I'm going to grab one potion. I actually missed a ton of right clicks in there. I'm going to continue to throw out these right clicks on that ogre. And that barricade is about to go down. But don't you worry, we are prepared. 2 more rifts are opening up. These are on the north side of our kill box. Again, we're totally barricaded, totally ready to go for this. That is not a threat to us at all. Inside of the kill box, the last of the dynamite archers just went down, so I'm going to come back in and we can help out a little bit more. That barricade is still holding. It is still holding.
You're the boss of trees.
We're getting some pretty good, like 12 and 11 times multipliers in here on some kills. I would say one of the downsides to this kill box is just that there's so much cooldowns in between when the, like, dart traps go off, in between the sprayers going off, in between the flowers going off, which does, you know, hurt your multipliers here and there, but all in all, it's so consistent with just keeping things frozen and dancing around inside the box that, you know what, I'll take it. I'll take the score loss for a little bit of consistency. Man, there's a lot of gold on the ground in here, too. Just making this so trivial. I think this is the last little bit of the wave. And we're looking at $14,000 in the bank right now. And I don't know if you see a lot in here that can be improved, but I don't see a lot in here that can be improved. We can add one of these in. That'll deal some damage along that line. I wonder what the trajectory of this actually looks like. Let's just throw that in too. I mean, it'll go boom. Hopefully it just bounces around in that corner. I don't want that projectile to leave the box and travel down the lane. But yeah, that's looking pretty solid in here. Pretty happy with that.
The Fire Fiend Overlords. The strongest of the fiends.
Oh, okay, they're dead. All right. You know, I just thought of a good idea. I want more flower coverage in here, so I'm going to sell these 2 tars. Because most enemies don't even walk on this side anyway. And we'll put 2 more flowers in here just to help keep this area even more CC'd. Still haven't sold this barricade. I have 17,000 gold to spend. And this is the final round of the final level of the original campaign. However, the surprises aren't over.
Another rift!
Where's this one? It's behind us. Our only weak spot. Whatever shall we do? We're gonna deal with it just fine. You have so much money that if you really wanted to, you could put traps down here for these guys, and it wouldn't be that big of a deal at all. However, we're just gonna use our mana and left click on some heads, and most of these guys should be taken down, no problem. It's a lot of archers. There's a dynamite archer thrown in there, but that's it. That's the whole rift. Every other rift is going to open up inside of our funneled area, bringing enemies into this. So beautiful. Such a nice strategy. It'll be interesting to see if I beat my old score. We're at 3.5 million right now. I think my old score was somewhere in the 6 millions. Perhaps the butterfly boxes were better for our multiplier. We shall see. We shall see. I just moved in there to grab a potion.
I'll just aim for his one good
They're explaining Cyclops mages to me, which we've already been fighting through the majority of our campaign. Health took a little bit of beating, so I am going to have to back up. We have huge waves coming out of every single entrance right now.
Another rift at any cost!
Still haven't lost the barricade. More rifts opening up in just about every cardinal direction. But our only weak area is safe right now. Enemies hit the box. I'm going to be right-clicking as often as possible and pushing in only to get the mana here when I feel like I safely can. Here's one potion. Beautiful.
The barricade is down!
We lost the barricade! No! Okay, it's back. Problem solved, boys.
Things do work out. This all still seems very easy.
Oh my goodness. Look at the density on the mini-map right now. That's actually insane. Our score's already gone up 1 million in here just from the amount of enemies that have been walking in. And every chance I have to spend mana, I'm trying to take it, refill a potion, and spend even more mana. I saw a 13 multiplier in there. Oh, it wasn't the final wave. There's even more enemies. We're at 5 million now. 5 million. Am I running out of potions? No, there's a shit ton in that one block right there, actually. There's so many. 5.3 million? God, there's some big enemies in here too, dude. And they're not even making any ground. They're not even getting anywhere close. Out of mana, grab a potion. No, these potions are like randomly generated. They're randomly dropped. But with this amount of density in here, you're getting a lot of just miscellaneous things dropping. By the way, $44,000 in excess right now that we are simply not using. 6 million! We broke it! We broke it! I don't remember what my score was. We are close. Holy shit, I might be beating it. And as the last few enemies are trickling in, we have some more ogres.
Working perfectly. Their bodies just come apart.
Oh, and that's it. The final level completed. Let's go! Oh, I didn't beat my score.
This guy knows we totally saved the order, right?
It was close, actually. It was really close, actually. 6.4 million. And a perfect 5-skull rating on every single level in the original campaign. We did it. We achieved it. I skipped the final cutscene. There is a story to this game, by the way, if you didn't pick up on that yet. 6.8 million was my highest score. Looks like the butterfly boxes went a little bit higher. This guy's clearly cheating, and his score will be removed. I think they remove him like once a week. But if we find ourselves on the global leaderboard, I am number 32. Actually, I was 31 previously. So someone beat my score in the past few days. Congratulations, whoever that was. Feeling pretty good. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Just because this was the last level of the normal campaign, it doesn't mean our Orcs Must Die coverage is done. There is, in fact, a second campaign that was added after the game's release called Drastic Steps, where you start to play with the original Orcs Must Die character again. These levels are all ridiculously hard, and I haven't played them at all on Rift Lord difficulty. So that'll be fun. Gotta figure that one out. Thank you guys so much for being here. Oh God, it's so satisfying. Completionism is so satisfying. Appreciate you guys. We'll be back soon with a look at the second campaign. Take care. See you again soon.